All right, hello everybody, welcome to the first Polaris Civil War Precap. I'm your Commissioner Jesse Cox, and the draft is finally over. Oh my, what a draft it was. The teams have been chosen, and all without a hitch, not a single technical difficulty.
How's it going? So you're a member of the Yogs cast? Oh, now we have multiple TBs.
In this Precap, we're going to review some of the highlights of the live draft. I'll take a look at what went down and what you had to say. AngryJoe and I will talk to the developer of Chivalry Medieval Warfare, the first game in this Civil War series of battles, and I'll check in with the captains to see who they're picking in the very first battle and what their strategies might be. There were some interesting developments that took place between HouseBiscuit and the AngryArmy in the first Inter-Polaris contest, the draft. Let's take a look at what happened as both our captains brought out the big guns.
Let's do this.
Joe, mine's bigger.
Alright, hold on.
I have a pen. You know what they say.
They never said the pen was mightier than the Warhammer, I noticed.
That's true. Joe is
Okay,
left.
I'm ready
What
for
is
battle
happening?
now.
No. Roll the footage. Roll the footage. Roll Joe's footage.
The first real drama of the draft took place pretty early with TB's pick of Strippin.
Let me tell you how I feel. My name is Strippicus Demicus Ponicus, general of the PC race and loyal servant to the true Emperor TotalBiscuit. Boyfriend to an anime weeb, son of Her Majesty the Queen. And I will win this war in this life or the next.
Clearly one of his top picks, AngryJoe immediately retaliated.
What is
You
up?
son of a bitch, TB. Okay, you want to make this a civil war? We'll make this a civil war. My next pick, Dodger.
Oh, I mean, I saw this coming a mile away. The second that Sam was picked, I was like, I know what's happening next. I know what's gonna happen. I will proudly serve AngryJoe on his team and fight the one I love as a casual trash bag of a person. If I were to beat Sam at anything, it would feel great. So look for those moments.
Well, after that, I feel like we need somebody that can outweeb the weeb. So I'm going to pick Octopimp.
This set the tone for the entire night. As TB would make a pick, AngryJoe would counter it.
You keep countering. I'm worried that your team is just going to be only counters and you're not going to have a cohesive team. I'm worried for you.
No.
want you to win.
I've got a draft list, man. I've got the
Okay.
list.
Either he's an elusive strategist or an extreme optimist. The picks continued on, and we managed to talk to everyone that we could. Commander Holly, for instance, had a burb.
He just left. I can't control them.
WowCrendor pretended to be from the Yogs cast.
Are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm Jin. I wrote a speech, actually. Thank you for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I am blessed to be drafted by Team Insert Name. I just want to get in early to training camp, to get to work, and get out there to make some big-time plays on the sports field. The stakes are high, the competition is mediocre, and I'm ready to hit a hole-in-one right out of the ballpark. Thank you, and Derek.
And both Cry and Shofu were upset about the images we chose for them.
That's a weird picture they chose, by the way.
Now, who decided to use that picture of me at the end there of that video? Now we got a problem.
Of course, I had to call out Joe again for his weak leadership.
You shut your mouth, Jesse. How dare you say that notoriously horrible video game player?
I'm just saying
Stop
what
shitting
everyone
on
knows.
my team.
So with that in mind, let's take a look at the final lineup. Now, as promised, we took a look at some of your comments on the draft to get a consensus of your opinion about how it went, and a few things stood out. The first major point of feedback was that nobody liked my webcam. Well, you know what? It's vintage. Pixels are in. If you can play Metroid, you can watch me be pixelated on a screen. It's probably for the best, really. Also, there was speculation of how Dodger and Strippin's love would fare on the battlefield, yet not one Pat Benatar reference? Come on, guys. I mean, it writes itself. And of course, we've learned Americans and Brits alike really love their gunplay. Many people agreed with my assessment of Joe's team that they are just a ragtag band of rapscallions. Hashtag Joe's team is the Goonies. And it was pointed out that in both team pick videos, I was a Nazi. Great. Thanks for the comments, guys. Keep them coming. Alright, moving on. The first battle in this Polaris Civil War between HouseBiscuit and the AngryArmy will be in the gallantry, the pageantry, the medieval warfare that is chivalry. It's just good, clean fun. Since TB got the first pick, we figured it would only be fair to have Joe sit down with the developers at Torn Banner Studios to talk about Chivalry, maybe find out some strategies, get it ace up that gauntlet of his? Who knows? But I have them on the line. Joe, take it away.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with Steve. Hi Steve, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. Now, obviously, I know about the game, but for those who haven't played the game, let's sort of dive right in to see what exactly Chivalry Medieval Warfare is.
Sure. On the most basic level, it's a first-person slasher, which is basically a first-person shooter, but instead of guns and grenades, you've got swords, battle axes, and longbows, and people are basically trying to just chop each other's heads off. This is all kind of set in it's a fictional setting, but it's believably medieval. That's a pretty nice sword you got there. There are 65 different types of weapons in the game, and there's 4 different classes.
Damn. This particular mode they're having me play, I'm not very good in. Could you explain to me, like, the objective of the Colosseum in the King of the Hill mode?
The King of the Hill mode is basically, kind of an epic final stand for each team, and they both try and hold the center point. It's a classic game mode if you've tried it in other game modes. But in Chivalry, it's kind of unique because when you get players get up close with each other with the melee and the swords, and it's just basically everyone dies in one pile, and they just dog pile up in the hill area.
Okay, I'm going to take an opportunity here to try to get some secret insider information or strategy tips on how my team can destroy TB. Are there any, like, cheat codes or console commands you can give me? Or what are, like, the nuclear options that you think will work really well in the King of the Hill mode?
One of the key things to remember when you're playing Chivalry is that you can actually still control your sword as it's attacking. So in most games you attack and you let go and you just kind of watch the sword swing. In Chivalry, you can still use the mouse to kind of turn your hips into the swing. And that's going to give you those milliseconds of extra time to hit the guy earlier.
I'm fascinated with game design. I mean, I can come up with concepts left and right, but actually developing them, that takes a little bit of skill. What is, like, the life of a game developer like?
It really changes in kind of phases in a project. So because you're dealing with year-long projects that just take a tremendous amount of work to deliver, there's different stages you go through where at first you think, oh, this is garbage. We've got nothing here at all. It's just not working. It takes a while to get something going, and once the fun starts happening, it gets really exciting. And then you get this, like, really nervous period right before you show people your game. When the journey is kind of done and it's out there and it's been a success, it's a really amazing experience.
What was your first job, and when did you decide that you wanted to get into game development?
My first job was actually at Eastside Mario's, a restaurant. I was a dishwasher, so for minimum wage. So yeah, I've always loved games. I always played a lot of games, and I really enjoy the modding community, and that's really how I got my start. I jumped in on a mod that was in progress because I was a huge medieval fan as well. So I loved epic medieval Hollywood movies like Gladiator and Braveheart, and I was like, why has no one brought that to a game? So that's how I started. I wanted to play something that didn't exist, and I sought out to create it with other like-minded individuals online.
You've made your dream come true, pretty much. So do you have any other suggestions for people that might want to get into game development?
There's a couple. It's a big, long list you could make out of that, but I think some of the key factors are focusing on what you want to do. A lot of people just like, I want to make games. Well, there's a lot of different departments of people that make games. So do you want to be an artist, a programmer, a designer? What is it that you want to do? Figure that out, and then realize and recognize that it's a very competitive field, and it's going to take way more than 10,000 hours. You got to compete with experts. So to get to be an expert, you got to put in 10,000 hours. If you want to compete with those people on the world stage, it really is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding work if you can pull it off.
Any upcoming announcements maybe that's like going to come to the game in the future that you can divulge now?
We're at an awesome time in Chivalry's kind of history where the community is kind of taking over and giving us a ton of content all the time that we're trying to put in the game. So now there's actually, if you haven't played Chivalry in a little while, there's more community-made maps than there are developer maps. We've added a ton of stuff officially. There's a bunch of mods on the side. And actually, our 3-year anniversary is coming up, and we've got a pretty exciting event there. I can't talk about it right now, but pay attention to the Chivalry website for around.
Is there going to be some new stuff?
Yeah, for around October 16th, there's going to be kind of a cool event that we're putting on for a little while. It should be cool.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, man.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you too, Joe. Good luck.
Big thanks to Steve for sitting down with Joe and I to talk about the game. Hopefully now he has that edge he needs to beat TB. We'll see. Did he get that ace up his gauntlet? I don't know. What I do know is that this game was basically created from a Half-Life mod 3 years ago, and 3 years later, it's still strong. If you want to learn more about how to create video games, Full Sail University has degrees that can teach you how to do just what these guys did with coding and art, design involved in bringing games like this to life. Click on the link in the description below or visit fullsail.edu/Civil War for more information on Full Sail's game development program. Okay, so now we are ready for the game. We know how it works. Let's see what each captain is thinking moving into this first battle. First up, TB.
Chivalry's a game that we've played quite a bit of, honestly, and I'm feeling pretty confident with it. King of the Hill's mostly about getting the best position and then, of course, being able to defend it. So, as long as they're getting more than 1-for-1, we should really have no problem taking the hill and then holding onto it. You've got to hold the damn hill. I'm not 100% convinced that the opponent is going to have a strategy. If the rumors are true and he's actually leading the charge, then I have a feeling that it's mostly going to be rage and less prior sensible thinking. I personally will not be playing this particular event, so I need to make sure we've got some good proxies. I'm going to have Cry lead the team, of course. Strippin is a big tryhard, so we can absolutely include him, and Force has been practicing a great deal as well. I think as long as we've got a strong trio, we can kind of put in anybody after that. I think for the MVP, it's going to be between Cry and Strippin, honestly. Cry, I know, is really, really good, and he can keep calm under pressure, whereas Strippin would have practiced a ludicrous amount for this because he's got nothing better to do with his time. So it's got to be one of the two.
Very interesting. Now on to AngryJoe. Thoughts, sir?
I'm all right with it. I wouldn't say I'm the best. Well, obviously, take the friggin' hill, get to the center, and go man mode. I know that the people that I selected know what they're doing, so I'm just gonna sort of kind of let them do what they want to do. The same thing. Probably what they're going to be doing is, if we're playing on the map I think we're playing in, which is an arena map, there's probably not going to be very many archers, and everybody's just going to sort of rush the middle with like long ass weapons. We're going to start with WowCrendor, Bed Banana, Criken 2, and Dodger, and myself. Because this is one of those ones where it's awesome and your guy yells in the game, so I want to sort of be leading the charge and have those people come in. Oh, it's Crendor, obviously. I'm actually going to try to convince him to convince TV's army to like stop in the middle and fist fight in the middle, and if that goes well, it's going to be Crendor who's going to punch people out.
We will not know the result until the day of the battle, which will be the 30th. Chivalry will go down then, find it on Polaris, see who was victorious that day, and make sure to comment so I have more to talk about in this video, and come back for the next Polaris Civil War Precap Recap Extravaganza. And as always, to be continued. So, you love to play video games, but have you ever thought of creating them? Whether you're interested in programming, art and animation, story creation, or even producing games, there's a game degree program at Full Sail University that fits your needs. Click the link in the description and visit fullsail.edu/Civil War to learn more.